Okay, so my first one is the MGM Lion.
Leo?
Okay, I did the research.
Excuse me. I was just talking about my favorite zodiac sign. Go ahead.
So I'd start this story with the roar of the MGM Lion, but when I hear the lion roar, I have a primal instinct to soil myself and invent fire, so I'm going to skip it. Like I already said, the MGM Lion, plural, S?
What? Impossible.
There can't have been more than one lion in this world.
Changelings.
There can be two lions at any time. There's the master and the apprentice. To start MGM Studios, just to give you a backstory for like 20 minutes. MGM Studios was it was a super studio formed when the movie theater titan Marcus Lowe of Lowe's Theater, now owned by AMC, no relation to AMC, the TV channel, home of The Walking Dead spoilers. Yeah. Which, watching an episode of The Walking Dead, there's a lot of spoilers in there. So this Marcus Lowe, he orchestrated the merger of three smaller studios. There's Metro Picture Corporation, Goldwyn Pictures, and Louis B. Mayer Productions. MGM, Metro Goldwyn Mayer. If you didn't know that, you are DUM, dumb, ugly, misinformed. They formed April 17th, 1924. Their movies were, and still they're known for starting with the upsetting and overly loud roar of a lion, but it didn't start with MGM.
It didn't.
No, it didn't. It started back in the caveman days. Before they would tell a story in the caves, they would have a lion come in and roar, and then he would start the story.
If you really wanted to hear the story, you would stick around as the lion attacked you, and that's how you become king of the jungle.
So it started in 1916 with Goldwyn Pictures. They are the ones who started it. They were a new studio, and their publicity executive, Howard Dietz, decided they needed a mascot, so he stole the idea from his alma mater, Columbia University, who had a lion as their mascot, and he just decided to make a lion his mascot. So he also decided to give the studio the motto Ars Gratia Artis, which means art for art's sake, which was definitely not a motto of Columbia. So to make it known that what you were watching was a Goldwyn movie, they put a bumper before the movie saying that's
why they do that.
Yeah, so this one's made by Harvey Weinstein. Better keep watching.
Hi, we paid for the movie. Just want to say that up front.
This is ours. This is us. So
Stop doing that.
I can't. Melissa's been watching This Is Us, and every time I hear the phrase, that's all I think of. So this bumper said on it, a Goldwyn Picture. It had their motto, Ars Gratia or whatever, Au Gratin, Lion Au Gratin, which is delicious.
Orcs for Orcs' sake.
Orcs for Orcs' sake. And then in the circle made of film strips was a real lion. But who was this lion?
Tell me more about this lion, please. Are you lion? Go ahead.
Are you tigered? Oh, wait. His name was Carebra, and he was born in the Dublin Zoo, but came into the care of one of the first movie animal trainers ever, and at that time he was definitely the best one. He was a man named Volney Pfeiffer, or Captain Pfeiffer, as he liked to be called.
I like that too.
Someday I would love to be a fake captain. Carebra was renamed Slats to sound more American when he came through Ellis Island. Ellis Island. I'm not panthering. Did I do that right?
I think you nailed it.
When Goldwyn came looking for a live lion to be in their logo, he was, I assume, the only lion in town. So as a marketing gimmick, they gave him the stage name Leo. Wasn't his real name.
Slats?
Slats' stage name is Leo. Nay, Carebra.
Even the lions got to change their names.
And he had to lose a lot of weight. That lion's got to be stoopable.
And what is this, Lions Manali?
I ain't panthering.
Stop.
So they gave him the name Leo, and they slapped some footage of him into that bumper, and the logo we all know and love and are scared by was born. Is it just me? Because I get scared by that logo. It's loud.
I mean, it's it's a frightening image, but it's comforts me.
It comforts you?
Well, I mean, like I've been seeing it. It was a bumper for a lot of cartoons, if I remember correctly. Yeah. I wasn't scared of it, but it was before I knew I was supposed to be scared of lions. I learned later I was supposed to be scared of them.
So you would have been eaten way back when.
Yeah, probably.
So the first movie that this was used on was Polly of the Circus, I guess fittingly, in 1917, but this was still the silent era, so there was no roar by Slats.
Oh, it's just
so he just kind of looked around.
That's pretty nice, too.
I'd rather see a lion looking around.
Yeah. Confused. And I get the jump on him now.
I roar at him. He who roars first.
Delta.
Because even the roar goes on for too long.
Yeah,
and just like the looking around, he's just kind of...
Yeah, that's funny.
For like 12 seconds, just kind of looking around. But that performance, it was enough to last for over a decade. They used that same thing. So in 1924, when Goldwyn merged into MGM, the new company decided to keep the same logo almost identically. But now it would say MGM Pictures instead of Goldwyn Pictures. So now Slats' image was being used in MGM movies, starting with the first one was Lon Chaney's He Who Gets Slapped, which was that same year.
He was also also the line. Have I heard of that movie? I've never even heard the title before.
How many Lon Chaney movies they've all been lost anyway.
Yeah.
The Man of 1,000 Pictures, all of them lost. That same year, Slats retired from show business along with Captain Pfeiffer, who took him with him to Gillette, New Jersey to live on a farm. He started to board animals that were used on Broadway in New York City. But I guess MGM still had say over what happened with Slats. So from there, they loaned him to the Philadelphia Zoo until he died in 1936. He was buried at Pfeiffer's farm, and Pfeiffer planted a pine tree over the grave to hold down the lion's evil spirit.
Oh my God. You could have him back when he's dead, Pfeiffer.
Not so much a threat. Those are the terms of the contract.
It's the cycle of life, yeah.
The farm's not there anymore, but the tree is still there, apparently.
Nice.
So get your shovel. But Slats' legacy wouldn't last forever. He's not the same lion.
You're lying. Go ahead.
In 1920, it's still funny. Keep at it. In 1928, the old Slats logo was looking dated, and they wanted a new, sexier lion to replace him. Enter Jackie.
Jacqueline? Jack Lion?
Jack Lion Serengeti. I'm not lying. Jackie was born 1915 somewhere in the Nubian desert in Sudan. And according to his trainer, Melvin Kuntz, he was the ugliest cat you had ever seen.
That hurts. I don't even know what this lion looks like, and it hurts.
Well, think about what he went through to look like that. But nepotism was strong back then, and Jackie came from lion actor royalty. His mom, Stubby, was also a performer, and his grandma, Mamie, was one of the first animals ever on film in America. So Jackie, ugly though he was, made maybe the biggest contribution to the MGM logo, because by the time he came onto the scene, sound was a thing in movies. So to add an extra punch to their logo, on July 31st, 1928, they had Jackie roar into the camera, and the genre of upsetting movie logos was born. The first movie that his roar was used in was White Shadows in the South Seas in 1928, which wasn't a talkie, but it did have some sound effects and music in it.
Yeah. Did people jump out of the way of the train?
No, they jumped out of the way of the White Shadow.
Into the mouth of a lion.
Yeah. I'm not afraid by that lion, but I think that's the ocean, and that scares me. So Jackie's roar was used in every MGM movie until 1932, when they replaced his roar with that of a panther, because it was more the sound that they were looking for. Oh. Lions don't make the right roar.
Yeah, so don't tell a lion that.
So for a long time, there have been two urban legends about the recording of Jackie's roar. Do you know about this?
No.
What do you not know? You're a Hollywood gossip. I mean, do you even like lions? The first of these urban legends says that when they were filming him, Jackie was supposed to just silently look around like Slats did, because it sells.
Yeah, it's a tradition at this point.
He was supposed to just look around, but while they were filming, according to the legend, two bank robbers who used the warehouse that they were filming in as a storage place for their stolen loot burst in, not knowing that they were filming a lion inside, and Jackie saw them and roared right as they were filming, and then he mauled one of them, who died 2 days later, while the other one ran outside and was hit by a cop car rushing to the bank that they had just robbed.
And those two robbers, Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello die in real life. But if that were true, then I don't know why they still kept Jackie around when he also supposedly killed his trainer and his two assistants the next day while Alfred Hitchcock watched. Those are the two urban legends about this lion. They're not true.
How can we make them true?
We're going to have to clone Alfred Hitchcock. I've been saying it for years.
We've got the lion. We've got the trainers. We've got the bank robbers. We've got all the stuff.
Alfred Hitchcock is endangered. I can get a lion. The fact is, Jackie was actually the nicest of the lions that we're talking about here. One night, a stray cat and her kittens made their way into Jackie's cage, and instead of a collage of baby cat parts all over the place the next morning, his trainer found all the kittens soaking wet because Jackie had been cleaning them all night with his tongue.
Sweet. Jackie.
Oh, Jackie, baby. He was also the lion that MGM made the most out of being their mascot. So he was paraded around the country under the same publicity name of Leo for everyone to see, to promote their movies. Come see the White Seas of the White Seas or whatever it was. So it's really scary. Once fade in on wind. Ooh.
Oh, no, how?
He was even toured around the country as Leo, the MGM Flying Lion. Why do they call him that, Greg?
Why do they call him Flying Lion?
They built a special plane with a special cage enclosed in glass as the body of the plane that they would put Jackie in and literally fly him around the country for people to see.
It's so funny that there was an era of flight before it became commercial where it was just gimmicks.
Yeah. Amelia Earhart set a record for the longest flight with a lion.
With a live lion.
Dead lion anyone could do, but a live lion. However, having a lion on board was apparently not easy to calculate weight weight-wise, and it turned out the plane was too heavy. So 5 hours into a flight from San Diego to New York, the plane crash landed into the Arizona desert, which I'm less shocked that this crazy plane crashed than I am that they were flying for 5 hours out of San Diego and they were still only in Arizona. The pilot and Jackie were fine, but the pilot had to go get help, so he left Jackie in the cage for 4 days with a bunch of milk, water, and sandwiches, and when they finally went back for him, he was fine, and he got renamed Leo the Lucky, which was a nickname he took advantage of because he would go on to also survive an earthquake, 2 train wrecks, an explosion in the studio, and a shipwreck.
Oh, well, I mean, he's a cat. He has 9 lives.
And he used all of them.
Every single one of them in extreme circumstances. He was never just sick.
Leo, the earthquake riding lion. Leo, the train riding lion. Leo, the explosive lion. So Jackie was the lion in all black and white MGM movies until 1956. So he was in over 100 of them. His most famous was probably The Wizard of Oz. But he wasn't alive. He didn't live, that 50 years. Yeah. Jackie retired in 1931, and on February 26, 1935, he died. But the McPherson Museum in McPherson, Kansas, claims to have the skin of either Jackie or slats that they somehow got after they died, but there's no way to prove this, and also someone stole it from the museum a few years back.
Oh, that's double gross. Oh, that beautiful creature. Skin it for me, and then 100 years later, I'm going to steal the skin.
Can we deep fry it also and then eat it? But even though his image was in use until 1956, he wasn't the only MGM lion during that time. So like I said, he was in all the black and white movies, but they used other lions for the color movies. MGM was toying with the new Technicolor technology. Yeah. So from 1928 to 32, they used a lion named Telly in their color movies.
Okay.
And then from 1932 to 35, they used one named Coffee. I know you like that.
I like my lions like I like my coffee, named Coffee.
For some reason, neither Telly or Coffee, they're not recognized as official MGM lions. It might have been that they didn't have the technology, the Technicolor technology right just yet, so they were ashamed of these lions.
We're the Telly and Coffee of podcasts.
Yeah, because we're so colorful. When they got it right, they brought in a new lion to get the job done on their new perfected color movies. His name was Tanner. And Tanner had the reputation of being the meanest of all of the MGM lions, and he had the scariest roar. They used the roar as these comics you're talking about, these cartoons, these moving comics.
They're for the kiddies, right?
Watch the funny pages move on the screen now.
I don't watch stuff for kiddies. I fight in the wars.
They used the roar of Tanner as the sound effect for a lion in all the MGM cartoons. So whenever you heard Tom and or Jerry roar, it was Tanner.
Well, Tanner's mean, and I don't want to support that because I like Jackie. I like a Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie's nice. I would love to be licked all night by Jackie. I would love to crash land in Arizona and live off sandwiches for 4 days.
Yeah, that's your dream.
The biggest movie that Tanner showed up before was I would say Gone with the Wind. But time keeps moving on, and even the ferocious Tanner was replaced in 1956 by George, who was hired because he had a huge mane, but he was too timid and nobody liked him.
Yeah.
You talk about Coffee and Telly being us. I think timid and not liked is the lion that's us. This is us, a lion. So they even had to dub Tanner's roar over George's roar to make him interesting. He only lasted about a year until the MGM Lion to End All Lions was brought in. The only lion whose actual name was Leo.
Oh boy.
He was born in the Royal Burger Zoo in Arnhem, Netherlands. He was by far the youngest lion to be used by MGM, and you could recognize him because he doesn't have much of a mane. It's very cute. You know what? Actually, this lion's me. The cute young one.
The cute young one that sweeps Hollywood.
The cute young one from the Netherlands. That's me, all right. He also had an acting career outside of the logos. He was in several of the Tarzan movies with that stupid monkey.
Jigs? My hero, Jigs?
He's been in the most MGM movies of any of the other lions because he has been the lion in almost every MGM movie since he came on some 60 years ago. He's long dead, but he just did it so perfectly they never bothered to replace him. The only MGM movies he wasn't in were the ones in the 60s that they used a special stylized lion logo in with a drawing of a lion instead. This was only in 3 movies.
Okay, hit me with one. I bet they're funny.
You've definitely seen one of these. Grand Prix. The subject was roses.
So what's the movie?
2001: A Space Odyssey.
That has a stylized logo? What is it?
It's a drawing of a lion. There's no lion. There's no other lion after Leo. It's just a drawing of a lion. They saved the big roar in 2001 for 20 minutes in when the tiger roars in that.
It attacks Jigs, or a man dressed as Jigs.
He played all the monkey. That was his Norbit.
There was plenty of cartoons where like bugs would come out And he would roar.
That was another thing. Like the Marx Brothers would have movies where like Groucho would be there roaring or making fun of a roar or something. And it's been made fun of to no end. So get some more material. Let's add to that time-honored tradition. So Leo's roar has changed also, because by the 80s, his roar was like scratchy and dated.
So they needed to add a new wave beat to it.
Yeah, they had Depeche Mode remixed the roar. So as a favor, the sound designer who was working on a movie for MGM, that movie being Poltergeist, he had been gathering different cat sounds for that movie. So he provided a new roar that they could use in their logo. So the roar that you hear in the MGM logo now is actually the roar of a tiger that they recorded for Poltergeist. So in 1992, they even filed a trademark on that roar, but it took them 20 years and they finally got it in 2012. So officially there have been 5 MGM Lions, but 7 have actually been in MGM movies. Also the voice of a panther and a tiger. So just explain that to everyone in the time between seeing that logo and the movie starting next time you watch an MGM movie.